This guy has sold over $10 million worth of AI and automations. And I sat down with him, and the stuff he shared was what actually convinced me to start my own AI agency. Most people are overcomplicating it. They're charging too little, doing things backwards, learning the wrong way. But the way he broke it down was simple, scalable, and it's what's working right now. So in this video, I'm going to share the biggest lessons from that conversation, show you clips from that conversation, and show how I'm applying those to my own agency. So let's get into it. So here it is. It was recorded on Otter. Here he is, the absolute goat. I'm not going to say his name, but essentially what I'm going to do is just break down the biggest lessons and talk you through them.
It's so cool. It's really cool. And it's really easy. We all learned all of this off YouTube.
So here he is saying we all learned this off YouTube videos. So I was here trying to pick his brain, trying to learn everything I could from him, where matter of fact, all these guys would do would, they'd finish work, go home and watch YouTube videos about how to build these kind of automations. He actually sent me the YouTubers, and I can't remember who, but he built a lot of his stuff on the Microsoft Power Platform. So it wouldn't have been, any of the big gurus that you guys probably watch, but it was really interesting. That's what I started doing. He sent me a couple of these YouTubers. I started watching and I started learning how to build this stuff on the Microsoft Power Platform. And I think this is great because it breaks that illusion that you need to be a tech expert. It just shows that these people, they love it. They might be a bit nerdy, I don't know, but he wasn't a tech expert. He wasn't an automations expert. This guy learned from YouTube, just like you're doing now, just like he told me to do, just like I have pretty much done. I've said this time and time again that anyone can do this. And this just sort of reinforces it. Anyone can learn. It's just who is going to be the ones that are willing to actually sit down, put in the time, learn off YouTube and learn by doing and learn by failing. If that's going to be you, then carry on watching. Understand that this is what can actually happen, that this can actually change your life. And something as simple as just learning a skill from YouTube can completely change the trajectory of where your life is going. And I know a lot of you will be able to relate to this. A lot of you aren't a tech expert. This is me saying it's really cool.
So cool. It's really cool. And it's really easy. We all learned all of this off YouTube videos.
Yeah. There you go. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. And this is why I'm showing you it. You don't need to be an engineer. If you've ever watched a YouTube video and you've watched it and you've gone, no, this is too technical for me, or you've watched the hook and you've got bored, whatever it is, which a lot of people do, you've watched the first 30 seconds and you've dropped off because it was boring. Don't. There could be a golden nugget in there that you guys didn't know about and you learn about. This guy has sold $10 million worth of automations from learning from YouTube. That's how easy it can be. Although I'm not saying it easy, it is tough. So this is him talking about a children's hospital that they needed an app that their staff the doctors can use when they're treating children with lupus disease. So they got the requirements, they did a discovery. It was 30 days, which cost about 30 grand. Okay. Oh, okay.
The discovery said 30 days, about 30 grand. Okay. They said, well, we want something a bit more fancy. We want a web app that people can log into and we're going to charge other trusts to use it. No worries. That's not a Power App. That's .NET. .NET charged them or quoted them 150 grand to do the same app. So we can turn it around so much quicker.
Correct.
But what Power Apps are brilliant at is internal business process. As soon as you want external people to be able to log in and do stuff, then we have to kind of fudge and work around. But if it's internal business process, we can smash it. We can do them really quickly. And depending on how we build it, 9 times out of 10, you can just use your normal business license. So there's no additional cost. There's the upfront investment, but then running costs are fine. If you want to do fancy stuff,
so there you go. I don't know if you actually could hear that. I'm just going to go back over it just in case you couldn't, because I don't know how. I'm not a sound engineer and I don't actually know how this works. But he's saying that he did a discovery for a children's hospital right up in Liverpool. And they did a discovery, said 30 days, about 30 grand. It was an app. They went to .NET people, okay, which is a programming language, I believe. I see I'm not even that technical myself. And they quoted them 150 grand to do the same app. And what my company was saying was that they could turn it around much quicker. Now, he's saying that Power Apps, so he's on about, Microsoft Power Platform, are brilliant at the internal process. So if you already are part of the Microsoft ecosystem, for example, Outlook, OneDrive, SharePoint, etc., Business Central, stuff like that, it's great because it's great for the internal process. You can automate that whole process. But when you have external people wanting to do stuff and log in, then it's a bit more bespoke, and you need to sort of come out with some sort of with turnaround and workaround. But what he's saying is if it's an actual internal business process, then it can be automated really easily. So what should you maybe learn from this? Maybe the fact that once you're in to a business, right? Once you've sold them some sort of system, for me in particular, my school community, it's normally the lead generation system. So I have my own lead generation system, which generates leads like no tomorrow. So once I'm in there, I can upsell with either potentially a like a proposal generator, which is like a tag along, or a voice bot, which can call and cold call leads and qualify them. Stuff in and around the lead gen system that can fit on as an add-on. If they don't want that, or if we do implement something and they're really happy with it, then we can start talking about, once they've really gained my trust and credibility, we can really start talking about the internal business processes. What bores you, right? That's a simple question. What bores you? What takes too long? What could we automate, etc. And this is where you actually start doing deep dives into their business. I'm not saying a lot of you could do that right now. You probably could. A lot of you probably could. All it takes is a bit of, I wouldn't say you need that tech knowledge. It's just that passion for automation. You'd have to go in and say, okay, we could actually automate this. Your brain will be ticking over and over thinking, okay, I can actually do this. I can automate that, what you're doing right there. Do you want me to do it? You don't have to charge, you can do a very small one-off and actually charge a monthly retainer on top of that. Next thing you know, you're getting a load of different clients. Selling different automations, your social proof goes up. You said you've done this for this company here. You've saved them this amount of time, and you go out reaching to everyone else in that sort of industry or that typical similar company. And you can go out to them and you can say, look, I've done this for XYZ company. Shall we do the same for you?
Like AI, or you're going to have massive volumes of data, or you want to have, I was going to say signatures, but no, signatures would be included, and photos and videos, all standard. If you wanted to have like maps and geolocations and sat-nav stuff, well, even with that, there's ways around it. There are certain things that you would have to have
But he's also talking about the licenses. So that's how sort of Microsoft work. If you've, one user is one license. So I, for example, use Outlook. So that's what I pay for, like £4.90 or so, I don't know, something like that for a license. But suddenly you start getting into business standard, business premium licenses. The cost goes up, but your capabilities within the Microsoft cloud, within Microsoft software increases by loads, and not enough people actually use what they pay for, which is mental. Like Defender, security, stuff like that, right? But one thing you should take away from this is, compared to the .NET developer and the app that they could make, they went 30 grand for this, 150 grand for this, for the .NET. Guess which one they went for? It just goes to show how much no code now is changing the game. No code plus AI, you're going to have a significant unfair advantage. AI automation in businesses is literally a cheat code. And if you can get that inside your head as a sort of mentality shift, that, okay, this, what I'm selling is going to transform businesses like so good and going to transform them forever, then the passion that you bring across on the calls is going to make it a lot easier for you to actually sell the services. But a lot of people, and I get it, a lot of people will be watching YouTube and be watching me and seeing people do quite well and think, this isn't doable. Why can he do it and I can't? And I get it. But sometimes, and most of the time, to be honest, it's literally just that mindset shift to think, I can do this. This is doable. People are doing it. Businesses are doing it. Why can't I do it? All I have to do is learn and be passionate about it. I'm telling you, that's all you have to do. So for example, the low to no code tool here is Microsoft Power Platform. Me particularly, I use NA10 and Make.com, and I know a lot of you will be as well. And that's what we can do now. We can use these no-code platforms to integrate AI into, to make systems and automations that are just so powerful for businesses and allow them to scale so much quicker, allow them to save a lot of time, save a lot of money, make a lot of money.
Watch a couple of YouTube videos, see how it works, and then come and join us.
Yeah.
It's much more fun.
It is. It sounds it.
Yeah, it's great. We make all kinds of shit. So
This is funny. All he's saying is watch a couple YouTube videos, see how it works, and come and join us. So I was in the sales team. So I was selling this, but I was also selling 100 other different stuff, right? But this was all I was interested in, was the AI automation side. And he's saying, yeah, watch a couple videos, see how it works, come and join us. It's much more fun. It's much more fun than trying to hit your target every single month and make sales, etc., etc. We make all kinds of shit. They make everything, and it does seem so fun. And I wish I actually did it. I would have learned even so much more. But I'm also glad that I didn't, and I left when I did, and I started what I have, because it's worked out better than I could have imagined. But I'm asking him, do you get your hands dirty with it? Do you still do? Because he was like the manager, he was like the head of AI and automations. I said, do you still get involved with it? He said, whenever I can, not as much as I want, because of things are at the moment. I've got to keep the team fully utilized on chargeable work and all that fun stuff that we have to do. So now and then he gets to do it, but not as much as he wants. So this part is going to help you on real client delivery. So I asked him about a discovery. What does that look like? I'm going to play it. I don't know if you can hear it, but let's hope you can.
So what we were doing, not necessarily, no. I think I could use this to kind of help with that discovery. So what the discovery would usually be is we would have a call or a workshop or a couple of workshops over a couple of days to understand the process, what they need to get out of it, where the challenges are, the types of users they've got, so we can work out what will and won't work. We then say, okay, we think this app would be best. It'll have these pages, these automations, these reports. This is how the data is going to be structured. So it says very clearly what they're going to get and what we're going to make. That's what they get at the back of the discovery. If they then want to give that to another developer, then they can do. They own the statement of work or whatnot. But out of that, it will be very broken down in detail as to what they're going to get and how much it's going to cost. So if they then want to go ahead, then we can just start. We know what we've agreed. Mm-hmm. If we deliver something different, then they can hold us to account for it. And if they start saying, oh, but what about this, that, and the other? We say, well, it's not in that statement of work. So that statement of work is exactly what we're going to do for them.
It's a bit worrying, isn't it, that they could just take it off to someone else? Does that happen?
So if you couldn't hear that, I don't know, I'll have to edit it out. But essentially what he was saying was all about the discovery. So the discovery would be like a workshop or a couple of workshops only over 2 days to understand the process, what exactly they need to get out of it. Like imagine if you knew this as an automator, you understood their whole entire process, exactly what they do from day to day, what they definitely need to get out of it, the deliverable that is, what's the word? Can't remember, I forgot this word. The deliverable that is unnegotiable. Sorry, I don't know why I had a bit of a block there. So exactly what they need to get out of it, the unnegotiable, unnegotiable deliverable, the challenges, the types of users they've got, how many users they've got. They need to know all of that, so then they can say, okay, we think this app would be best. Now, notice how he's not calling it an automation. Okay, we think this automation would be best. It's an app. That's what they're selling. It is an app. It's not automation. We think this app will be best. And in that app, you have these pages, these automations, these reports, and this is how the data is going to be structured. So he's talking about selling an app. I know before I've talked about selling a system, but since everyone else now on YouTube seems to be talking about selling systems, I'm going to now start talking about selling apps. And I think everyone else is now going to start talking about selling apps. But that's what it's going to be now. Maybe instead of selling systems, because everyone else is going to start mentioning it, why don't you say to my 100 people that will probably watch this, start speaking to your customers and start saying, okay, in this app, you'll get this. And the automation on the back end will do this. Okay. I think this app would actually be best for you. In here, you'll have this automation, all of that, right? It doesn't have to be one automation within the app. It can be a whole bunch of stuff. The app can be 3 pages long. You could have the lead gen automation starts there, the pipeline generator starts there, the outbound phone caller starts there, the report generator will start on the next page over there, the data analyzer will start there, etc., etc. And the thing is, what he does after that discovery, this is still chargeable work. It's about $12.50 per day. So for a 2-day discovery, it's still $2,500, right? And a lot of you are selling your automations for that. So this is just literally a 2-day discovery. And you know what they get after that? A statement of works. That's all they get. They get a piece of paper. No, nothing. Well, I say nothing tangible. Obviously, they get the statement of works, but nothing that they can actually use. No automation's been given to them yet. No app, no system has been given to them at all. All they've got is a piece of paper saying exactly what their problems are, what we'll do as automators, how we'll solve those problems, etc., etc. Then I asked the question here, okay, but surely they could just take that off and go work with someone else. That happened 0 times, okay, because the discovery was that good. They went into that much depth. They understood all their problems and processes that when it came to actually delivering the automation, the customer, the client, the prospect had full visibility of the statement of works and full confidence that the company, the automators, could actually go and deliver that work. No one ever has, but they could. He's on about taking
mock designs together for what the app could look. Might be that I can actually get our designer to put some mock designs together for what the app could look like, that we could then include. Usually we charge extra for it, but it might be we have a bit of time that Rez can put something together just to try and sweeten it up a bit and get them a bit more interest.
I don't know if you could hear that again, but look, that is so important. They can charge a little bit extra for the app. He normally just puts some mock designs together. Now with stuff like Lovable and Bolt, you can literally make a mock design within minutes and send it to him and say, this is what you'll get, this is what it will look like, this is what the automation will look like, this is what the app will look like. And they do that to try and sweeten the deal. Say you've got a prospect, right? Hang on. Does Bolt have an API? No. So that would actually be really cool. Imagine if you could just spin up an app via an API. So you'd have the modules or the nodes whenever someone positively replies or something, and you could have an automation that just spins them up an app and sends them over the link. That'd be really cool. You could do that with Vapi. You can actually create a voice agent via APIs. So if you were selling this, for example, you could automatically build a Vapi agent via an API and just send them the phone number or something and have them call it. Anyway, we're getting off track. So what he's saying here is that he puts some mock designs together, show them what the app could look like, and then they could charge a little bit extra for it and also have it as a sweetener on the deal. And then here is when everything changed for me. This is actually where everything changed. This one question here.
App, how does that work? So this app, how does that work? What do you mean, what the app looks like? Are you creating an application?
Yeah, so we'll make an app. It'll be a Power App, and they'll be able to say, oh, I want to create a new summary for this person. Here are all the supporting documents. That will then grab the documents. It'll run it through AI to extract the text. It will give the text to a different AI model with some very clear instructions of what to do. That will spit out a summary document that will go into a Word template that will then go back to the user.
So Microsoft Power Apps is an automation on the back end, but on the front end it creates an actual visible app that they download.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Let me show you. Yeah, so within the Power Platform, we have Power Apps, or we have Power Automate, where all those automations bits work. Yeah. But in a lot of things, you need to be able to kind of interact with the information. So we can make Power Apps that read, from all kinds of different data sources, that allow you to put whatever information in you need and do whatever. So this is a Power App. What is this one? Oh, so when an email arrives with a purchase order, an automation grabs it, extracts the text, runs it through AI, saves all that information to SharePoint. If we're happy that the information's accurate, it pushes it into a system so people don't have to type out the purchase orders. If it's
I don't know if you could hear that. So again, I'm going to have to just walk you through it just in case you can't hear it. But he's talking about making the app, right? And that's what it is. It's called a Power App. That's what we were selling. We weren't selling AI automations. We were selling Power Apps. So it will give the text to a different AI model with some clear instructions of what to do. So it's sort of like an AI agent sort of thing. But with, I'm sure they're using it now that they're a lot bigger. But at the time, I think it was just very well prompted AI models. And I said, what? So you've got an app. You got a Power App is an automation on the back end. On the front end, you get a visible app that they download. I thought it was like a mobile application or something. So he's like, yeah, so we've got Power Automate. All the automation bit works, but you need to be able to interact with that information. So he talks about a automation here where an email arrives with a purchase order. The automation will grab it, it will extract all the text, run it then through AI again, save all that information to SharePoint, and if it's accurate, it will push it into a system so people don't have to type out the purchase orders. A lot of people, if there's anyone in finance watching this, you might be thinking, that's incredible, but I'm sure 100% of you are like, oh, that's not even that good, but that is going to save someone in finance a hell of a lot of time. And if it's not happy, so I'm guessing they give it some sort of score, it will sort of notify the user. They'll open it up in the app. They can see the order. They can edit any of the details that they might need to, and they can say, "Yep, happy," and then the automation takes it off and does the rest of the process.
So, because the automation is faceless, so the app gives you a way of interacting with that information.
Okay.
So we throw these together. I say throw these together. That's very unfair. We develop these to kind of go along with bits. We've got one for this is one we did for project management for.
So that's really, really powerful. So he's on about the app and how the automation's faceless. The app gives you a way of actually interacting with that information. You know, automations are so powerful, but they need to be invisible. So it's that the app layer, on top of the automation, the thing that actually makes it an app, the app makes it usable for clients. So in the back end, we've got the automation, make.com modules, NA10 nodes, a whole automation built on those no-code platforms. And on the front end, we've got a client-friendly app that you can build on Lovable or bolt.new, or in this case, Microsoft's Power Platform.
I know about the automation. I wasn't sure. I didn't know about an app, but I suppose that makes it a lot easier for the customers to actually have something physical and tangible.
This is probably where it was clicking in my mind that, oh my God, because I was already doing a bit of automation stuff before this. And it seems now it's clicking. It's like, oh my God, I've just come up with the next, I've come up with it. I've just been given the next brilliant idea to actually make to get actual confidence in my automations when I'm selling them to people, an actual front end app. And this conversation was back end of last year, I think, just when bolt.new was released.
They can
Yeah.
put stuff into, and then I suppose it spits it out. How does like the email stuff work? Like how
that'll all be through the automation. So what we'll have is when we create, we kind of create anesthetics there. We try to create.
I remember he just had a tooth taken out or something, so he's a bit loopy.
A request for a summary in the app. So we need this new summary, this client, here's all the documents. That then gets passed to the automation, and then the automation says, oh, cool, let me take all of the text out of these documents, do the summary, create the Word document, save that somewhere, but then I'll send the person who made the request an email that said.
So really simple stuff can be done within like 4 modules within make.com, Gmail modules, stuff like that. the documents that they put into the app gets passed to the automation. The automation summarizes the text, creates another Word document that gets saved somewhere, probably in SharePoint. And then once that document's been made, you could do this all with Google Docs. You could then send a link to the person all automatically. You can send a link with an automatic email saying, hey, here's your Google Doc link, and they'll open it. Thanks for flying British Airways. Don't know what it means there.
So, for example, what's he working at the moment? I've got a call with Rich LLP, and they go out and they do surveys on buildings to make sure they're up to scratch and health and safety compliant and all that good stuff. Well, at the moment they go out, they write everything in a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, and then they email it round, and it's crap. So we're going to make them an app where they go and say, new survey at this location, add a load of details, take a load of pictures, and they do it all in the app.
Don't know if you'd hear that. I have put it on 1.5 speed, but we've got some people who, they're a company that do surveys on buildings, and at the moment they go out and they write everything in the Word document or an Excel spreadsheet, and then they email it around. So they do something, it's very, very manual, and it's crap. So they're going to make an app where we can go and say, okay, they've done a survey at this location, it adds all the details, takes the pictures, they put that all into the app and upload it and that uploads it into SharePoint, which will then generate a Word document report that goes to the client. So not only have they saved that they've saved themselves a load of time, they're also improving on that by sending all these reports and stuff to the clients. Anyway, so there's a use case and a case study for you. So again, here's where I'm just realizing the absolute power of the app. I can't believe it. This conversation is the reason I'm where I am today, and that's not even a joke. This conversation is genuinely the reason I managed to sell over 100K worth of automations based off this conversation. I'm not even joking on that. It was really the turning point for me to actually understand, oh my God, I can build this automation in the back end that I'm already trying to sell to people and sell to a few people, but I can actually wrap that in a front end app and start selling it to even more people. Just because now I'm going to have confidence. Before, it was such a lot of friction of trying to get people signed up to stuff, but now I'm selling an app. I just had so much more confidence in what I was selling, that everything, it just took off. It went through the roof. So I hope this gave you some clarity and, most importantly, an actual insight into what other people are doing. Really successful people are doing it in really successful businesses, what they're doing to get automations over the line, or apps over the line, or systems to actually sell to clients. This isn't just theory, I'm just plucking this out of thin air. This is an actual conversation with an actual expert who sold tens of millions of pounds worth of this stuff. Dollars, I should say. I suppose the biggest takeaway for me was obviously the app, but you could also look into the discovery side of things. It's not just about the fancy tech. It's about their current process, the problem, and how this app and automation and system can actually solve those problems. If this helped you, I'd love to hear it. So drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know your biggest takeaway as well. And I'm just going to keep showing the stuff that I'm learning, doing, and testing in my own automations agency. So if you want more of the actual real behind the scenes, then feel free to subscribe. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.